Movement, or continuous movement in this case, because we're now a chicken dash game, not geometry dash, just to make that clear. Our character is going to be constantly moving to the right-hand side. So in the previous video, we set up a ground. We also set up our player. We added rigid bodies. Oh, I'm actually clicked on the camera there, and we added a box collider to both our player and our ground so they can bump into each other, and we added a rigid body to allow gravity to work. So when I press play, the character or our player, our white cube or white square, just falls down. So nothing else happens at this stage. Now, something I forgot to mention in the first video, there are other things here. We did only refer to, I think it was the rec tool, but you can rotate things. So if I click on rotate and I've got the player selected, I can make it rotate and so on. And I can move things around. Now with moving, you can move it either up and down, left or right, or you can grab the blue bit in the middle and kind of freehand put it wherever you want to go. But for the time being, I'm just going to put it back to where it was by pressing Control Z. Now then, so our player, we added a box collider. We also added a rigid body, so that's where the gravity was on, so it makes it drop down. In order for it to move to the right-hand side, or it could be to the left if you want to do it that way, continuously, we need to add a script. So if I click on Add Component, and I actually start to type the name of what my script is going to be, I want it to be called Movement, and if I click on New Script and I press Create and Add, and I can just press Enter a couple of times, then down in the bottom here in our assets, where we don't have anything at this stage, we've got this script appearing. And if I left click on it, over on the right hand side, it shows us the code, which is C# code, to give us an idea of what's already been generated for us. But to be able to edit it, I need to double click on it, and it will open up in Visual Studio for me. And there we have it. So at the moment, it's all kind of set up these libraries at the top, and it's basically saying when the code is started, it does this, so it doesn't do anything. And every frame, so every kind of like millisecond, it will do whatever's in this as well, the update thing. Now I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, so it's a bit easier for you to read on screen. 150% should do the job. I'm actually going to get rid of the comments because we don't need those. And we don't actually need at this point these things at the top. So I'm actually just going to make the code a little bit easier to read. Now, the code, I'm not going to type it out in front of you because I can't think of anything worse than that. I'm just going to copy across the bits we need. So I'm going to go back onto here and we're going to set a variable called speed. And basically private float speed means that it can be a number which is a decimal place then. And the serialized field, I'll explain what that is once we go past this point. And you might have noticed on here as well, on void update, it's just one line. And we actually don't need the start procedure, so we're going to get rid of that again to kind of make things a little bit tidier and as simple as possible. And we're basically saying that the player, it's actually going to move to the right and it's going to move by this speed. So it's multiplying it by the speed, and the time is to kind of make sure it kind of does it. I can't quite remember how it works, but it is something we need on there. So I'm going to press Control S to save it. So it goes green, so I know it's saved. And when I come back onto Unity, it might take a couple of minutes sometimes for it to update. Just got to be patient with that. Bear with me. There we go. And you can see now over on the right hand side it's updated. And if I click on the player, it will show us where we've got this movement script and we've got the speed there. So speed is currently set to 0. That's what the SerializeField thing was about, basically. With that there in front of our variable, it means then we don't have to go back to the code to change the speed. We can actually do it within Unity. So if I set it to 5 and I press play, and if I've done it all right, I haven't done any mistakes with my code, it should get to this point and look, it's moving to the right. But a big issue is our camera isn't following the player. Our camera, look, is actually still here, and our player has actually gone off screen. And in fact, if I click on the player, it's still moving to the right, look, because the position is going up and up and up. And I get the feeling that it must have dropped off our ground as well, because that is getting like lower and lower and lower, as in I've dropped off. But in our next video, we are going to be looking at getting the camera to follow the player.